We gotta be careful, but we're probably gonna get problem with this is when they play music, we get banned from live because it's a copyright thing. So I don't know what's gonna happen. We're gonna get banned because you can't have music in the background of freaking anything. So we're gonna get pulled off of Facebook immediately. Yeah, maybe they'll turn the music off, but yeah, I have to. Yeah. Hey, I'm here. The media's here. I'm here. Who's got that sign? But we got to keep trying to make sure.
Danielle, where's
We got to keep talking. We're probably going to get banned. Oh, but quick like and share this because we're probably going to get banned because the music always gets you pulled down on Facebook Live. But we'll try to get as much as we can in before.
Kids are not for sale! Kids are not for sale!
So,
Kids are not for sale! 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 Kids are not
well,
for sale!
if we get taken off, I'll start a new post and say I don't own the rights to music, and then maybe I won't get banned. Somebody stop playing copyrighted music. Yeah, let us know where you're checking in from. We're at the Capitol Complex here in Harrisburg, bud. Trying not to get hit by cars, bud. Corinne, there you are, bud. By the way, if you want to become a supporter of the stream, that's our new top fan badge. You can get one of those, bud. We got 10 of them right now. I'm gonna have to keep talking to try to keep talking. But if you can, please like and share this video, bud. Yeah, keep that music off. Sorry.
Save our children! 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 Save our children!
Oh, there you are, bud. Surprisingly hot. I brought an umbrella, but I think we're gonna be good. Yeah. It's like they turned the music off knowing that I would get taken down on a live stream. Someone said if you post in the comments, I don't own the rights to the music, they don't take you down, but yeah, I always feel like they just find any reason to take it down.
I seen there's a Rugas down there with yeah.
There you go.
Here we go, bro.
Y'all ready to do this thing? All right. Welcome to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. We're going to make a little noise for the children today. The children that can't speak for themselves. But we will speak for them.
That's right!
The children. You know, the first time I saw my daughter being abused at the hand of a young boy, she was about 4 years old. And he had her on her knees and he was smacking her on the side of the face. He had a hold of her long blonde hair. And he outweighed her by about 30 pounds. A fire came through me. And I wanted to go smash this little kid. who was abusing my daughter. And I saw something in that boy that was just evil. Because he was taking pleasure in inflicting pain on my daughter. He was my brother's son. It took every ounce of me, my 300 pounds, to keep from driving that little boy into the carpet. So I picked my daughter up and brushed her off, wiped the blood off her face. And I had to have a conversation with myself and God. You know what I mean? What do I do? I protected my daughter at that moment. But what could happen to that little boy? So I had a conversation with my brother. And that young boy now is a security guard. He's straightened himself out. He's a security guard, and he actually protects us. Because I had a conversation with that young boy about what he was doing, and what was in his soul, and what was in his heart. And he turned out now, he's 20 years old, and he's a good man. So, needless to say, that was my first real heartfelt moment with actually seeing abuse and bullying. And folks, I can't share with you, I don't want anyone to ever feel that again as a parent or as a child. You know, one of the things that my senator in Pennsylvania, Senator Mastriano, is he fights for life. He's my senator. Doug Mastriano is a personal friend of mine. I met him before he ran for any public office. And I can tell you in his heart, before he became a public figure, that he genuinely wants to save our children. He has done more in his short time in this State House to be a true leader than Tom Wolf would ever think. And folks, Senator Mastriano, I'm talking to Doug. Doug doesn't really want to entertain the idea of running for governor in 22, but I can tell you this, we need him as our governor. We need to restore liberty and freedom and security for your family and children back to Pennsylvania. Never again can we have a governor like Tom Wolf sitting for senior citizens to die from ignorance and incompetence. Never again can we have a governor take authority. Never again can we have a governor, one man, take full authority to shut down and destroy millions of people's livelihoods, their families. Imagine all the fathers that are stressing out right now, and the mothers that are stressing out right now because they're only working 20 hours a week. Because of Tom Wolf. The math does not support what's going on right now. Imagine the abuse that's going on, the neglect. The parents who can't afford to support their children the way they want to. Struggling to put food on the table, pay the rent. We've got to stop this. You know, President Trump, you all know about President Trump and the unprecedented money. You know President Trump, has he done a good job? You know Pennsylvania? President Trump put unprecedented amounts of money into the fight against human trafficking, child trafficking, pedophilia. He's going to expose them and lock them up behind the scenes. Now, did you all see the reporter that asked President Trump about Q?
Yeah.
And the reporter asked him, apparently Q seems to think that you're fighting this behind the scenes thing, this bad thing that's going on. President Trump's response was, well, I know they like me. Did you all see that?
Yeah.
And he asked the reporter, he said, well, if I was saving the country from pedophilia, would that be a bad thing? And the reporter just kind of rolled her eyes. That's what we're up against. President Trump said in one of his speeches, and if you notice, he dropped some hints now and then. On purpose, he misspells words. And President Trump said we are fighting an ancient human trafficking. He said ancient. What's that?
How about that he raped a 13-year-old girl?
Oh yeah. So anyhow, let's get back to the topic here. You're exactly right. President Trump's coming under more attacks than any president in history for doing the right thing and keeping his word. So folks, I'm here to support you. I'm doing this for free for the group, and I'm here to support you 100%. All right, let's say the Pledge of Allegiance, and let's get this thing kicked off. The flag on top of the Capitol building, if you would, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much.
Uneducated, how can you be out here for this and not know what's going on? It should be told.
Ooh, that's hot.
You faked me.
Is the switch turned on the mic? Go ahead.
You always need a sound guy. It sounds like a hot mic. Oh yeah.
I don't know what's going on with it.
Always need a sound guy, Bob.
Here, just use this one.
Can I please have all the speakers and the organizers come to the front as well?
Put a speaker.
Hello.
You want me to switch?
Sounds pretty hot.
Thank you. Okay, I just want to thank everyone for coming today. Welcome to everyone to the Pennsylvania Save Our Children protest. My name is Lexi Young, and I am one of the organizers for this protest, along with Jill, Megan, Stephanie Wise, Michelle Harris, Haley Davis, Caitlin Phillips, and Morgan Twain. We want to thank all of you for joining us and making our voices be heard in this fight against human trafficking. We and the war on our children. Thank you to everyone for enduring the weather. It's super hot. Who knows if it's going to rain? So thank you for coming today to fight alongside of us for this cause. If anyone needs any information or help reporting any tips, please make note of the organizations that we have on the board down there. If you see something, say something. We would like to introduce our first speaker today, which is going to be Fred Weaver. He is the president of Guardians of Hope PA.
Good afternoon, everyone. I wasn't going to lead off with this, but down here on one of our benches is a very important message. It's down here on one of these concrete benches. It says, there is a time to pray and a time to fight. Well, my friends, we can keep praying, but it is time to fight. It is time to tell the world to keep your effing hands off our kids. So my friends, welcome to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I'll begin by thanking some very awesome people and telling you a little bit about myself, my organization, and why we are here. First off, thank you to Jill and her organization for organizing this. People like Tabitha Ann, Amanda Erdley, Stacy Shadle, Penny Bastian, Jolyn, Francis, and others at our hearts hear your screams. Check out their page on Facebook. People like Kayla Barco, who is organizing more rallies. Chad Benner, president of the North Central Pennsylvania Bikers for Justice, who I wish could be here today. They're very supportive of our causes. They're an awesome organization that helps children in danger. The list goes on, and I know I miss many of you, but God bless you all, for together we fight. My name is Fred Weaver. I'm president of Guardians of Hope, PA Incorporated. We're a small nonprofit organization that deals with the 4 forms of child abuse and the long-term effects thereof, which I'm sure many of you know is addiction and many other things we go through. I am 1 in 5. In case you don't know what the 1 in 5 is, periodically you'll see people with 1 fingernail painted. That is because 1 in 6 boys and 1 in 4 girls will suffer sexual abuse. I was one of those. My abuse came from a trusted family member. It led me to confusion, dealing with hate, and what brought me here today. After years of suffering self-doubt, I went through a terrible time with the loss of my daughter, Fallon Renee Pardo, in a house fire. After my divorce from my wife, my first wife, I was introduced into crack cocaine by a woman I should have never been involved with. I spent 1.5 years in hell because I never dealt with my issues. After 2 DUIs, I was forced into PTSD treatment, and that led me back to my root cause of what happened to me when I was a child. Because of that therapy I went through, it saved my life. 2/3 of people who were in treatment for heroin or other drugs say they've been abused as a child, sexually abused. I say that number is probably closer to 80 or 85%. With what I dealt with growing up, my emotions of hatred towards some people, myself, self-doubt, feelings of just feeling I wasn't good enough for anyone. Can you imagine what a child or a grown adult goes through that have been raped multiple times, have been trafficked to strangers? In 2015, my wonderful wife Linda stood by my side as a few friends and myself formed Guardians. We have tackled issues of neglect, bullying, rape of children. We've been instrumental in the release of information on convicted individuals in our communities. We were the first to publish information on Tyler Trevitz, who raped 2 boys in Union County. William Walton Jr., who had intercourse with a 12-year-old girl at least 4 times. Christopher Morrison, a vice principal of all people at Zealands Grove Schools, who was soliciting nude photos from young girls. And several other cases, some of which I can't go into. I have been threatened with bodily injury, lawsuits. To any of you starting a nonprofit or getting involved with this, I tell you, make sure you have the facts, make sure you have docket sheets and proof, because people will come at you. Let's talk about some statistics. 800,000 people under the 18 years old go missing every year in the United States alone. That number is estimated to be at over 8 million worldwide. While many of these are found within 48 hours or runaways, the sad facts are that many of these children are never located. 1/3 of teens on the streets will be lured into prostitution within 48 hours of leaving home. 300,000 teens are at risk of becoming victims of sexual trafficking as we stand here today. A pimp can make between $150,000 and $200,000 a year off one girl, and most have 4 to 6 girls working for them. The sexual trafficking industry brings in $9.5 billion annually. We see these stories every day of local people being arrested, and we don't blink an eye. We see national stories when they see fit to tell us of pedophile rings. Are we even surprised? Think about it. We look at the staggering increase of arrests in the past 4 years in human trafficking. I have read stories that have made me physically ill. I have broke down and sobbed. Such horrendous rapes and murders like that of Victoria Martins, a 10-year-old girl in New Mexico, who died on her 10th birthday after her mother allowed her to be sexually assaulted, as she had done to her and her sister several times, by soliciting strangers on the internet. Her mother thought it was sexually gratifying to watch her and her sister be raped by men. Victoria was murdered, dismembered, and burned before her body was discovered. Grace Packard, a 14-year-old girl from Quakertown, Pennsylvania, who her adopted mother and her boyfriend raped, murdered, dismembered her body because her mother was gratified by it. Gracie was found in Luzerne County by hunters. Can you imagine the sight that these people found? I have personally created a YouTube video on our Guardians of Hope YouTube site. I encourage any of you to get on and view the several videos we have. There's music to them, which we do not own the rights to. We know there are 6 sadistic monsters throughout the world. Well, what about people in power? The elite, or cabal as we refer to them. Why do some people refuse to believe that these people we put on pedestals are innocent, good individuals? Are they not humans? Are they not capable of the same sins as other people? Do you know who John Paul Rice is? John Paul Rice is an independent Hollywood movie producer. He has produced such films including Juno, Remember the Titans, The Hunger Games, The Grudge, and A Child's Voice. This is a direct quote from Mr. Rice. This is a bigger problem because people know that in the world that I come from in Hollywood, that it is a hidden layer, that everybody knows is there. When the Me Too movement started in 2017, I reached out to several of my female actress friends who are prominent in LA. You would know them by name. You would know them just by the way they look. As you go, oh, that was her in that movie or that movie. And I said, well, what about the children? What about the children? And the response was, we know, but they were silent. And it destroyed me. It destroyed me because my illusion of what rights were, human rights were, children's rights were. This is a child abuse system we have been living in for a very long time, and it has been allowed to go on, and I will not be silent about this because it affects every single one of us. The people on television who smile at you, who tell you stories, who give you the news, are the ones hiding all of this from us. They are not talking about real issues, they are distracting us with division issues. This is a unification issue. When the Maxwell Files came out 48 hours ago, I went on MSNBC, I went on CNN.com, and I looked at every single one of their headlines. There was no mention of it whatsoever. They were talking about John Lewis's funeral. They were talking about Obama versus Trump. All the bullshit you hear every single day. And it doesn't matter what side of the political equation you were on this. This is a child issue. This is a human issue. This is not a political issue. It has nothing to do with left versus right, Democrat versus Republican, liberal versus conservative, or anything you identify with as in between. We are faced with a crisis of consciousness among the leadership of our banking institutions, of our media corporations, of the Hollywood entertainment industry, and the music industry. And he goes on, I encourage you to look up John Paul Rice and watch his videos. In recent months, even Rose McGowan, who I was never too fond of, has come forward with some pretty scathing remarks about fellow Hollywood stars and the lies surrounding politics, the entertainment industry, including calling her once friend Alyssa Milano an outright liar. How deep does this rabbit hole go? Is there a global network of human trafficking and child abuse? I'm going to ask each one of you to do some research and draw your own conclusions. I'm not going to tell you what to think. I'm going to let you look it up and decide for yourselves. Gloria Vanderbilt. Check out the Biltmore swimming pool. It's not hard to find on Google. And then look up some things like Tony Podesta art. And compare some of those pictures to the Biltmore swimming pool. What Mr. Podesta has in his art gallery will sicken your stomach. Connect the swimming pool. Do you know who Gloria Vanderbilt's son is? Anderson Cooper. Who does Anderson Cooper work for? CNN. Madeleine McCain, a 3-year-old who went missing in Portugal. Look at the police sketches of the suspects. They sure look a lot like John and Tony Podesta, who just by chance vacationed in Portugal, or did. Chris Cornell, Chester Bennington, Anthony Bourdain. What did they know? Orphanages in third world countries. How many children go missing from these places? How many people in power run orphanages and charities in places like Haiti? Just a little hint, the Bush family and the Clinton family both do. NXIVM. You remember who they are? That was a Hollywood sex cult. They are tied to the Bronfman family. There's a very powerful politician in Canada who has ties to this family. Look up some code words like pizza, hot dogs, cheese, pasta, mac, walnut sauce, ice cream, and handkerchief. Why would a former president spend $65,000 to fly in hot dogs and pizza from Chicago to the White House? Scott Wiener, California State Senator, January 2020, introduced a bill to legalize sex with a minor at least 14 years old with a person not more than 10 years older than them. Do you want a 23-year-old man to be able to legally groom and have sex with your 14-year-old daughter or son? Nathan Larson ran for the U.S. House of Representatives in Virginia in 2018. Mr. Larson was a convicted felon, spent time in prison for threatening the lives of Barack Obama and George Bush, and he is an admitted pedophile. He freely admits it, and he was on ballots in Virginia. We have yet to see all the disgusting information on Anthony Weiner's laptop. I can assure you from the desk of the New York City Police Department, there is some pretty disturbing stuff on there. Does anybody know who Sarah Ruth Ashcraft is? She was allegedly sold by her father at the age of 14 to a big Hollywood star. See what I did there? Maybe he can wear his red shoes in Greece. The Red Shoe Society. Does anybody know what that is? It involves Hollywood, the music industry, religious figures, and politicians. Look up claims made by Corey Feldman, Macaulay Culkin, Brendan Fraser, Elijah Wood, Nathan Forrest Winters. It's kind of strange that all of a sudden these people are silenced in Hollywood and blacklisted so they can't be heard. Look up the flight log from Epstein's plane. Who went there and how many times? Either Prince Andrew and Bill Clinton are either liars or they're two of the stupidest son of a bitches I've ever seen in my life. Did Epstein have ties to an intelligence agency? Did Hugh Hefner? Is Maxwell tied to a foreign intelligence agency? Perhaps Mossad? What purpose would that serve? Can you imagine having unlimited power over some of the most powerful people in politics in Hollywood? I cannot tell you what to believe. That is your choice and yours alone. What I can tell you is to open your eyes. Why did Oprah Winfrey surround herself with people like Harvey Weinstein and Rose McGowan's assaulters? If you open your eyes, a new world of truth will be unfolded before you. I do not believe this is an indictment against one side or the other. There are many evil people on both sides of this war. Don't think that Republicans are innocent just because they're Republicans. There are evil everywhere. 3 years ago, I began receiving cryptic messages, mysterious messages from a couple people on Facebook. They urged me to go on to Twitter, which I did, which led me to be introduced to a few trusted accounts that I now have. They've called us conspiracy theorists, a cult, dangerous to the American way of life. What are they hiding? The message is peace is the prize, and we need to save our children. What is dangerous about that? As you do some research on the people who run our media networks, you will find a web of inbred, intermarried families that serve a common purpose: to cover up facts and control your thinking. Did you ever think about the word television? Tell a vision. What if that vision is corruption and immorality? What are we going to do about this? We're going to ask our legislatures to enact stiffer minimum sentences on offenders. We're going to demand enforcement on current laws. We're going to work with our legislature to improve reporting and investigations. Ask for task forces to be set up to catch predators before they strike. We are going to expose corruption in children and youth services, liberal judges, and district attorneys associations. Case in point, President of California about a week and a half ago, 34 people were arrested, child sex trafficking. The next day, only one of those people remained in jail because he had a previous record. The other 33 had a $5,000 bail posted. $5,000. How do we protect children when we're letting their abusers out the very next day? We will not be silenced anymore. We are an army. We will fight. We will be their voice. We will report them, we will expose them, and we will demand justice. We are here, we are many, but we are one, because where we go one, we go all. My friends, regardless of your color, your sexual orientation, your religion. I welcome you to the Great Awakening. And I'd also like to thank my friend Anthony from Hobart. The other news people, I'm not sure where you're from.
Thank you.
Thanks, Fred. Can you hear me? Try not to mess with this microphone too much. But next we have Mandy Mooney. She is a survivor and advocate of child trafficking. Thank you for letting me share. I'm actually going to be reading because I'm really nervous. This is the first time I've actually spoken out on my story. But my voice will not be silenced anymore. As a survivor, I know what these children are going through on some level. And today I'm here to talk to you about CSEC, or commercial sexual exploitation of children. We live in a beautiful country with many blessings and freedoms. Most of us woke up this morning in a comfortable house, took a hot shower, and put on clean clothes. We eat hot and healthy meals alongside of our children and trust them into the structure of our society for the most of our days. Sure, the occasional worry crosses our minds, but we push it to the far recesses because that only happens in movies or in foreign third world countries. Our neighborhood is safe. Our children attend the best school. Our family and friends are good, law-abiding citizens. Those types of things do not go on in our part of the world. Except it does. And it is happening right under your noses. In fact, according to the National Criminal Justice Reference Service, in the United States, it is most common for children to be sexually exploited by friends or family members, and at least 1 in 5 girls and 1 in 10 boys will be sexually abused or assaulted before they reach adulthood. Those are staggering numbers. This is not okay. We need to save our children. So why is sex trafficking happening in America, the land of the free and the brave? There is an answer to the root cause of sex trafficking, and it needs to be broadcasted loud and clear across our land every single second of every single day that we have breath for the rest of our time on this planet. Research has proven that the root cause of sex trafficking is pornography. According to Harvard professor Catherine Mackinson, consuming pornography is an experience of bought sex and thus creates a hunger to continue to purchase and objectify and act out what is seen. I know this is true because this is what happened to me. As a young girl, I was exploited through watching pornography and acting out what was seen on the screens as young as 4 years old. My memories are really foggy during those years, but I recall multiple occasions where myself, my sister, and my cousins would be acting out pornographic scenes together on each other. Our ages ranged from 3 to 8 years old, and there was no way we would have voluntarily participated in these acts. We were introduced to pornography by adults that were supposed to be caring for us, and in turn, we began acting these things out onto each other. I have vague memories of adults watching and taking pictures, but there are no solid pieces to draw real conclusions on what actually happened in those rooms. I do not know the darkness behind I do know that the darkness behind pornography entered into my mind at a young age and desensitized me to the fact that this was wrong. One of the things people always ask me is, why did you not say anything to anyone or report what was going on? And my answer to that is that I had no idea that anything was wrong. I truly was just a baby. I was just doing what I was being told and shown to do. It wasn't until many years later later, when I attended a meeting to actually understand what had happened to me. Through the awareness meeting that I attended with Free, God finally helped me to name the evil that had stolen my innocence as a child, and finally put a voice to this piece of my history. This root of evil created a piece for itself inside of my psyche as a very young girl, which led me to being later trafficked at age 16, where I was brutally raped on multiple occasions to strange men, multiple strange men. My traffickers groomed me to believe that this was the way that sex was supposed to be, and that the men they were trafficking me out to actually cared for me. Also, my mind had been so seared by pornography and the sexual dehumanization of women and men alike that at such a young age that it was easy for me to believe this. From the outside, no one knew that I was being trafficked. I had left my father's home that summer, so I was basically a runaway. I was living with my biological mother, but she let me do anything and there was no supervision. I was not very well supervised at all, so I was doing whatever I wanted, and that's how the traffickers got a hold of me. I was vulnerable. I didn't have any friends in this new space and time in my life, and I was really very vulnerable and seeking friends' love and attention anywhere I could get it. I was a perfect candidate for sex trafficking, and the saddest part is that I was willing. Sex trafficking is not always someone being kidnapped and chained up against their will. While this type of trafficking is happening and needs to be stopped, there is also another type of trafficking that is occurring, and that is the trafficking of our children right within our homes. This happens every single day to the captain of the cheerleading squad, the captain of the football team, the musical prodigy, and it destroys them. It is the silent destiny killer in our children, and it is horrifying. According to the National Criminal Justice Reference Service, only 35% of cases of CSEC are actually reported, and that is today in the age of information and technology. In the summer of 1994, when this happened to me, the numbers were much lower. This is where we need to get aware and get active and allow our children spaces of safety to know that this is not normal. This is not okay.
Oh yeah,
And that
I try to
we
share
feel
his
that
thing
it is
every
safe
time.
to
So he's
report it.
live in DC.
At 16,
They're on the redacted promotion.
Oh,
at
okay.
16, the entire trajectory of my life was totally thwarted by this silent destiny killer. I was the captain of the cheerleading squad. I was on the traveling debate nationals team. I was in the traveling choir and the ensemble.
Yeah,
I was a
nice.
Christian leader in my private high school.
Nice.
I had a promising future. Then I was sex trafficked, and the evil that rooted in me at a young child completely took over. This mindset continued to shape my life and led me into a life of commercial sexual exploitation in the adult entertainment industry at the age of 18, where I stayed trapped until the age of 29. I was 18 years old and living alone in a tiny rundown basement apartment. I was seeking employment in a local newspaper when I answered an ad that offered instant cash, which is exactly what I needed. That night, I was coerced into performing on stage in a strip club for the first time. Many horrors occurred during those 13 years of living hell and forced me into a life of prostitution for survival. I became addicted to heavy drugs and alcohol, and I was living on the streets. But I do not need to share the brutal details with you today, because that is not the thing that I want to draw attention to. The bottom line is that the root cause of my history with sex trafficking and sexual exploitation is pornography, which began at home in the presence of people I knew and trusted. If we as Americans want to truly do something to stop sex trafficking, then we need to stop supporting pornography in every way. That means things that even resemble pornography. It needs to stop. We need to refuse to participate in the production, distribution, or consumption of pornography and all of its lookalikes. That pop star that your tween is just wild about, shut it off. That pop star does not care about your little girl. That pop star is selling pornography and desensitizing you and your little children to the evil that is behind it. Our kids need us to draw awareness to this and call it what it really is, and stop the desensitization that Hollywood wants to blind our children with. A case in point is the 2020 Super Bowl halftime show. This was a classic portrayal of Hollywood glamorizing stripping, which is a form of sex trafficking. I don't care which way you cut the cake. Trust me when I tell you that there is nothing glamorous about the light, which is what we call it. The evil that grips your soul and keeps you tied even after you get out is darker than you can possibly imagine. Quit making friends with the devil and stop supporting sex trafficking. Stop teaching our children that this is okay and teaching them that dehumanization of others is okay. Sex trafficking exists because otherwise normal people choose to see other people as less than human. They are a means to an end, fueled by deviancy created in part by prolonged exposure to pornography. This is a direct quote from the page Friends of Nepal, which is a sex trafficking awareness site. So you want to end sex trafficking. Stop supporting it. End pornography and your support and participation on every level, even the presumed innocent ones. Pornography is not just something you rent in the back room of an old Blockbuster. It is happening right in front of our eyes every single day. Your kid got TikTok? They're being exposed and possibly exploited by pornography. You let them watch the halftime show this year? Yup, porn. Teach yourself, teach your kids, and stop supporting sex trafficking by ending your support of pornography. I am so passionate about this point because this was my truth. The other side telling you that pornography is the reason that sex trafficking continues to occur. Please, don't let my story be your child's story. Often, when I tell my story, people look at me and think, wow, you look so put together and normal. And yes, it's true. Through the saving power of the grace of God, I am standing before you today, whole and completely free. Yes! There is hope and help on the other side through the power of the blood of Jesus Christ. But the road to recovery from a life of sex trafficking is not an easy one. And I do not want to see anyone have to walk it. Yes, I am a survivor. And that is God's piece of my story. He reached into the pit and pulled me out and set my feet on a solid rock so that I can have a voice for the voiceless on this side. God rescued me in order to prove that there is hope and help through Him, but also to educate others on the facts of sex trafficking in our society. It doesn't always look like a horror movie. Sometimes it looks normal on the outside. Look beneath the surface and make yourself aware of the signs of sex trafficking. So today, in closing, I implore you to do all you can to stop child sexual exploitation and end child trafficking. The first step is to stop supporting pornography and take a stand against it. Next, educate yourself and your children on CSEC, particularly the avenues it reaches us in mainstream media and social media. Boycott pop stars and movie stars that sell sex and ban apps like TikTok and Snapchat, which are widely known sites for predators. Also, educate yourself on awareness and look for the signs in young people around you that you come in contact with. You may be the one that saves their life. Also, you can fundraise and send proceeds to a facility that cares for victims. I support FREE, Freedom for Everyone Enslaved, an anti-sex trafficking nonprofit organization out of Berks County. While they do not have services for minors, they are in the front lines of anti-sex trafficking work. They educate the communities in order to raise awareness and prevent our children from becoming victims. One of the things people always ask me is, why did you not say anything to anyone and report what was going on? And my answer is that I had no idea that anything was wrong. It wasn't until many years later, when I attended a meeting at FREE, that I finally was able to put all these puzzle pieces together and actually understand what had happened to me. Through the awareness meeting that I attended with FREE, God finally helped me to name the evil that had stolen my innocence as a child and dig out the root of evil that had taken root in my psyche as a young girl. And this facility also has a women's drop-in center where victims can come and get supplies. I wish I would have had a ministry like this to reach out to me when I was at my lowest point. But these women have it now through free. They also can get other basic human needs that they could not have gotten when they were on the streets. They're also working on building a home for adult women coming out of sex trafficking and commercial sexual exploitation. This home will serve both locally and across the nation. You can also hold a prayer vigil where you gather to pray for those still trapped in sex trafficking and commercial sexual exploitation. Invite someone to come speak, maybe a survivor as myself, in order to raise awareness at the same time. There are so many things that you can do to help stop sex trafficking. Get involved and get your voice in the game. Thank you.
I just want to add a couple things to the comments she made. I don't know how many of you are familiar with pornography sites. Years ago, a pornography site would require you to use a credit card and make like $1 deposit to prove your age. Today, any child can type into a computer Pornhub or RedTube or several other sites and automatically go onto this site. They don't ask how old you are. They don't care how old you are. I run a secret account on Twitter, a shadow account if you will, and once you get a couple people to accept you on these private accounts,
How's it going,
you will
buddy?
be
Good to see you.
disgusted by some of the things you see on Twitter. Twitter censors
Good.
people.
How about
like
for you? Everything all good?
conservative
How's everything going for you?
movements,
Good?
Took a little bit of a break going on a road
but
trip.
they allow
Oh, nice.
disgusting,
Nice.
filthy videos on their platform.
Take it easy, stay safe.
Yeah, dude. I'll
I
see you
wonder
around.
why this hasn't been addressed by our legislature, the people that are supposed to be protecting our children. Thank you.
Next we have Kate, a major in MA in psych rehabilitation, an advocate for and addiction. Hi, my name's Caitlin. I'm 28 years old, and when I was 4, I was sexually molested by one of my mother's friends. When you are
All right, Paul, we're going to get some more pictures, and then we're going to get out of here. I'm going to head home. If you can, go to hobutnews.com and donate. Thanks for everybody that turned into the stream. I'm going to snap a couple pictures, and then I'm going to get out of here. Yeah, I'm probably gonna head out.
We're
Yeah.
going to the Broad Street Market for lunch.
Yeah. I'm probably just text me the address. I'll stop by.
Straight that way, about 4 blocks.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
it's a farmer's market.
Oh, okay,
Indoor,
good.
huge building.
So I was gonna say, cause I'm on 2nd Street, like down that right, so I should be right by that.
It's 4 or 5 lights that way.
Okay.
You can't miss it. Literally, it's a Broad Street Market like this big.
All right. I'll see you there, brother. All right, guys. We'll see you later.